and welcome to the Web Clinic. I'm Andrew McEwen, the Savvy Marketing Guy, and I help entrepreneurial small businesses win customers that turn into raving fans by helping them to clarify their message and using that in smart sales and marketing that actually works. In today's Web Clinic is a turn of Ian Bodison from Let's Delight. So let's dive in. Here we go, Ian, let's have a look. What have we got here? The UK's most straightforward property company, part of the housing solution we have up here in text. Okay, so part of the housing solution. Remember, you've got 2 to 3 seconds to tell people when they come into your website that they are in the right place and to instill that trust in them that they know that they are in the right place for whatever it is that they are looking for. And so you're a housing association, well, you're a property company, but you're a part of a housing association or something. But then you've got in here, you've got book your holiday stay. So that's a little bit confusing there. So remember, the human brain is it's hardwired to save energy. Okay, it's hardwired to help us to survive and thrive and to save energy. And the more that you make somebody think about, where they are, what it is that you're about, the more likely that they are to actually move on to the next website. Because if you make it difficult for somebody to actually understand what it is that you're about, then they're not going to hang around. Now, have you heard of the Z shape? The Z shape is something that comes up in the Web Clinic a lot. Let me explain what it is if you're not familiar with it. People read websites. Well, they don't actually read websites, they scan websites, and when they come into a site, they automatically kind of go in a Z shape. So they'll start at the top left of the page. Now that is where your logo is over here on the right hand side. Your logo should be over here on the left hand side, and that should be clickable through to the home page. That's just normal kind of web convention. Your navigation, well, they'll come along here, they'll read along horizontally, so really your navigation should be along there. Down there, fair enough if you've got extra stuff in here, maybe a search bar or something. But really, navigation should be along the middle, and then at the top right should be your main call to action. Whatever it is that's the main thing that you're wanting somebody to do, whether that's book a holiday stay, get in touch, whatever is the main thing that you're wanting somebody to do, there should be a big button up there that is inviting them to do that, calling them to action there. And that should be in the same place across all pages. So we've started top left, we've gone to top right, then we're going to come down diagonally. So in the middle here, we should be telling them in big bold type what it is that you're about, but not in terms of you, in terms of them. How is it that you are going to make their life better? How are they going to survive and thrive, if you like, from using your product or your services? We'll come to the text here in just a second. So we've reached the bottom left, and then they're going to go across there. So you got your kind of Z shape, as you can see. So usually along the bottom here, you'll have some, maybe what they call a value stack, which is, and this is based on Don Miller's story brand principle, is 3 kind of main pillars of how people will benefit from using your product or services. Save time, save money, get your life back, these kind of things. Okay, so we need to look at how we could restructure things here with the Z shape. Also, because you've nominated your site, I'm wondering, are you heading for a redesign? Are you thinking of a redesign of the site? Because the site does look very dated, if you don't mind me saying, Ian. What's it? Have we got a copyright down? Yeah, okay, copyright 2014 you got down here. It does actually look like it was made before then, but we'll stick with 2014. So yeah, it's long overdue a makeover in that sense. So you're saying about Let's Delight here. Still, I don't really know what it is that you're about. We've got your book your holiday stay. So I can select some dates here. Okay. But Let's Delight is a company founded by Jules Summerfield and Ian Bodison. I don't care. That sounds harsh, but at this point, I don't care who you are. I don't care that you founded the company, because again, we are all hardwired with this inbuilt, what's in it for me? We're always asking, what's in it for me? And at the moment, you haven't actually told me what is in it for me if I was to use your products or your services. We are based in the West Midlands, right? Okay. Let's Delight invests in property in various areas of the country, principally the Northwest and the West Midlands. Okay, well, I don't. If you invest in properties around the country, I don't really need to know that you're in the West Midlands there. We fundamentally believe that when anyone rents one of our houses, it is not just a house, it is their home. This is why we undertake to never evict a good tenant, even when their circumstances change. Okay. Most of our properties are either furnished holiday lets for short term. You got a typo there. Geets. I take that should be guests, and shared living projects. And okay, I'm beginning to nod off a bit here, Ian, because, and again, if you haven't read Don Miller's book, Building a Story Brand, have a look at it, because this will make sense. He's got a kind of 7-part story framework where every successful film or book really can be broken down into 7 simple steps, and it all starts with the hero of the story. And what you've done here, which lots of businesses, large and small, do, is they fall into the trap of placing themselves as the hero of the story, whereas your customer should be the hero of the story and you are the guide, because the customer has a problem and they can't solve that problem themselves. That's why they're seeking you out. You come along, you have got a plan, you call them to action to implement that plan, and if they successfully implement that plan, then happy days, we all live happily ever after. But if we don't implement the plan, then here are the bad things that could happen. So what we need to do is, your language in here needs to be framed in the context of your ideal customer. And if you have more than one ideal customer, then we need to see how that can be framed to identify both of them and speak to both of them. And the thing is, you say that you're dealing with properties, and especially like holiday lets. I'm not seeing anything. I take it this is you, and this is, yeah, there we go. This is you. That's Jules. You're standing in front of a property. Is that one of your properties? I don't know. What are your properties like? Because your properties is your bread and butter. We should have properties up here and showing happy people, because ultimately that's what you're trying to sell, is happy people enjoying life. And your property, your nice properties, is that means to an end, if you follow what I mean. Okay, and things like NRLA accredited, I don't know who that, so you could maybe have that a little bit further down as some of your proof, a bit further down. Your NRLA, who are the NRLA, maybe a bit of an explanation and a click through to their website. Chamber of Commerce, I'm very mixed on putting Chamber of Commerce logos on websites, because look, Chamber of Commerce is there to help you and you pay them to help you, so why put up it's not a symbol of how trustworthy you are that you happen to be a member of a Chamber of Commerce, because everybody can basically join a local Chamber of Commerce. So not a big fan of that. And then we seem to have random stones here piled on top of each other, and again a kind of random stock image of house and keys, etc. Standard kind of stock image. Because you're offering personal service. And that's what I'm getting is you care about people and you're very personal. Don't use stock images. You've got a picture of you guys down here. So let's use images of your properties, and if we can get images of people that have used your properties, then even better. So yeah, what else have we got here? We've got find you on Facebook. So are these just linking through to your personal pages? Yeah. Have you got? Hang on, let me go back to here. Where is this going to go? Yeah, so these are just linking to your personal Facebook pages. Have you got? You seem to have a Let's Delight Facebook page. Okay, so you're asking people to hang on a second. See, I'm getting confused now because these links open in a new tab, but these ones don't. These ones take you straight over the top of the page that you're reading. So I'm getting confused here. So my brain is telling me move on, move somewhere else where it's just where life is going to be easier, because people don't buy the best, Ian. Okay, people buy from people and companies and businesses that communicate the best. So if you're not communicating your message clearly enough, people are just going to move on, and then you're going to get frustrated because you're seeing people buying from potentially your competitors who you may think are actually doing a worse job than you when it comes to their philosophy about how they run the business, etc. But if they're communicating their offering better, then people are going to go there. So we've talked about the Z system and how this could be cleaned up. Let's just have a quick look at your privacy policy. Yeah, you need to update your privacy policy there in terms of GDPR, which is a total pain in the bum, I know, but it needs to be done. And actually, when I look here, because your about page is your home page, reinforced by About Let's Delight. So where have you actually got? What is your home page? Your home page is your about page, which is again just a bit confusing. The next page along that you've got is your blog. Nobody comes to a website to read a blog unless you've got a totally captivating blog. And people wake up in the morning thinking, I must go and read Ian's blog. But your blog could even go down in the footer. You can hide that away down in the footer. A blog really is for creating good content that will rank well on search engines and just help bring in people through content marketing. So if I click on, let's just click on that, working from home, some statistics, lots of stock images except for that. Is that a stock image? See, that looks more like a kind of a real image. But yeah, it could just all do with being updated and modernized, because it does look old and clunky. Let's just have a quick look to see how it performs on mobile. Okay, so you are kind of mobile friendly there to a degree. Let's have a look at invest. Find out more about Let's Delight investment opportunities. Here at Let's Delight, we can offer. Again, you see, you're putting it in terms of yourself. We are the hero of the story. We're talking about us, etc. Where you should be upfront with the benefits that people can get from working with you. Again, it's what's in it for me. Stock image there, and again we've got this thing here, figures quoted. We can keep you informed. Subscribe to Cash Investors mailing list. An email list is not, it's like a newsletter, isn't it? It's not a lead magnet. It's not something that's sexy enough necessarily for somebody to hand over their name and their email address for. So you have to, if you had 10 ways our investment opportunities can help grow your cash portfolio, or there was something like that people might go, okay, that's a bit interesting. Let's get that. Whereas, sign up to our email list for Cash Investors information. It's not something that is going to set the heather on fire, and I did actually fill that in the other day. I'm pretty sure I filled that in the other day, and I never heard anything. I couldn't get an email confirmation or anything through to say that I had successfully signed up, so I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Okay, tenant, please use the contacts below to inquire about our properties in the following areas. Right. So if I click on that and I go through to someone else's, so yes, okay, this website obviously is, a bit more modern looking. That it could do with a bit of a makeover as well. But well, hang on a second, I can't click on that one. I could click on. Oh no, it's the name that's. Oh, what's going on? Oh my word! Good Lord! Let me out of here. Gee, that's awful. Homemaker Properties. Let's have a look at that. Clicks through to somebody here. Hang around. Number one letting agent for lets agreed in Coventry in 2019. Well, see, they are at least they've got very clear signposting. I'm a landlord, I'm an investor, I'm a tenant. So they're saying, okay, if you're a landlord, go here. If you're an investor, go here. Okay, so if I'm an investor, and I click through to that, and so it's kind of following that right convention. It's leading me by the hand through a journey. Do you see what I mean? Whereas on your site, there is no real journey that you're taking somebody on. And what's this login page all about? I'm not entirely sure what I'm logging into or what I would be logging into. But yeah, so that's a quick run through there, Ian. You really need to work out your core messaging. Work out who it is that you're speaking to. If it's more than one person, then what's the message for each person that you're speaking to? And like the site here was doing, direct people so that, okay, I'm a landlord, I know where to go. I'm a tenant, I know where to go. Make it easy for people to find their way, because what it's doing also is it's showing how easy it is to do business with you. Your website at the moment is, well, first of all, it's really letting you down because it's not presenting a professional storefront that people expect these days. So you're immediately losing trust. Because it does look very homemade. I'm afraid people will come in and they'll just go, okay, this is not. This is not gaining my trust here. I'm just going to move on to the next one. And getting a really good professional looking website is not difficult. It can be something that can be put together for you very easily. That will instill that trust. But what you have to have first is you have to have that framework, like the StoryBrand framework. You need to know what the customer's problem is, how it is that you're helping them. What's your plan? What's like a simple 3-step plan for how you will help them get from they have the problem to their life is better because you have solved the problem for them. How could their life be better once you have solved the problem, and how you're helping them to avoid any downsides. So have a think about those. You've got also, remember, you've qualified for a free one-to-one session with me as well, where we can go into some of these aspects in more details. I'll be in touch with you to tell you how to claim that. If you would like your website featured on the Web Clinic, then just follow the link at the end that you'll see and register your site, and who knows, you could be getting featured on a future edition of the Web Clinic. For now, I'm Andrew McEwen, the Savvy Marketing Guy, and now it's your turn to win.